Hey everyone, Joey here, and today we're going to talk about a new fork of Dolphin, which is just called Dolphin CS. You'll see it right over there. That is the Dolphin emulator with one very specific change that I made, and that's it. So it's just going to be the Dolphin emulator with one specific change, and that is the ability to store the Dolphin data anywhere that you want, internal storage or SD card. Now, this comes off of, if you didn't watch my newscast, which you probably should, this comes off of me trying to improve a few different emulators that have had long-standing, I'm not going to say issues, but features missing. For example, with DuckStation. DuckStation has had a tough time because all of its data is behind Android's data storage. So I made something called DuckStation Patch, which is on GitHub, and that lets you now move the DuckStation storage over into the internal storage, so you can easily access all of the data. Something that's been missing for a very long time. Another thing that I did add is something for M64 Plus FC. I'm just going to show you it here right now. If you go into settings, and we have retro achievements. I added softcore retro achievements to M64 Plus FZ. You can get this build right off of the GitHub right now from my GitHub. It is a debug build where you're still testing it, but I've played through a few different games and gotten every achievement that I should. So it all seems to be working, but it isn't a debug build for now. I did talk to the developer about adding it to the main build, and it probably will at some point, but for now it's just a test build. So if you do want to play it, it'll be in the GitHub. But all of that being said, besides those two projects, there was one other project that I've been wanting to tackle for a while, and it is Dolphin. So let's talk about Dolphin. I'm going to open up Dolphin right now. And actually, you know what? Not on this device, but we'll show it off on this device. One of the big things about Dolphin is all of its data is in the Android data scope storage. So if we pop into, I'm just going to open up Solid Explorer, and I pop into internal storage, and I go over to Android data, then we go all the way down. It's usually in here. And then on some devices, you can't access those files. It's very difficult to actually transfer and move files, copy things out of there, all that sort of thing. The AYN, Thor, and the Odin 3 that I have here are not very good examples because those can actually access all those files, but like Ambernic devices, Ioneo newer devices like my phone, my Galaxy Fold 7 can't do it, can't access anything in Android data. All of those have trouble. So long story short, pretty difficult to access anything Dolphin related if you wanted HD texture packs, all that sort of thing. So enter Dolphin CS, which is the name of my fork for Dolphin. With the only addition, I am changing nothing except for one simple thing. We're going to pop into settings, config, general, user data storage location. That is the only change I've made. No performance, no anything. This is the only change. Now what this does is you click it and you have the option of where you want to store your data. Now by default, it is scope storage. That is what it is on default devices. However, you can now choose the internal storage and it'll create a folder called Dolphin-mu, store all of the data inside of there, or SD card, store all of this data inside of there, same folder name. And that's it. That is the only change that you get to make. So I'm going to pop into Solid Explorer. Let's go show what that looks like. And I'm going to go over to my SD card and you're going to see Dolphin-mu. And inside Dolphin-mu is all of the usual folders that were inside of the scope storage. Now they're all here. So if you wanted to, you can pop into load and textures and add your HD texture packs or adjust any saves in GC. These are all your saves. Go over to USA, play with your saves, add some saves that you found, back them up, whatever you want. I've already synced this with my sync thing. So all of this is backed up for me, but that's one of the big benefits here. Now I'm going to close this. I'm going to use the Odin 3 to show off what this actually looks like. So let's pop over to the Odin 3 and we'll go over here. So I have it installed and I just installed it. So I haven't done anything yet. I'm going to click no. It's pretty easy to use. So let me zoom right in. We're going to go over to settings, go over to config, general, user data storage location. So like I said, scope storage is default, but let's say we want to move it to internal storage. It's going to tell you Dolphin needs to restart because we have to restart to apply the new storage. So let's click restart. And now it needs access and permissions for you to be able to do this. Now, this is one of the big problems why I've sent this PR to Dolphin, but because they're on the Google Play Store and Google Play Store doesn't like this, This is likely not going to be integrated into the Dolphin mainline, which means that this will always be a fork. So unfortunately, it can't be something in Dolphin, but it will be a fork that will exist forever, and I'll explain in a little bit. But let's grant permission because we want file access for this. We're going to click allow and click back. And now it's going to ask copy existing user data. Now, this was a fresh build for us right now. I didn't do anything for Dolphin, but let's say that you have a whole bunch of data. Like on my AYN Thor, if I pop into Dolphin and I go over to the home screen, you're going to see I have all my games loaded, all my settings are configured, all of that. So in this scenario, I would want to copy all of my storage data. It'll copy everything over, all of the HD texture packs, saves, states, everything. It'll copy it over. So I'm going to do it anyways, but in this scenario, you wouldn't really need to do that. But let's click copy. Migration complete. It went too quick, but there's a progress bar if there's a lot of files. And now we're going to click restart now because it needs to restart again. And we're done. That's it. So now if we go over, and I'm going to go into the Files app, and I'm going to go over into Odin 3, my internal storage. You're going to see Dolphinemu is right there. And there is all of our Dolphin files. Now you can access them easily. Everything connects to them, and it's perfect. Let's go back, because what you can do now is continually swap over. So go back to user data storage location. If you wanted to move it again, you can do it. So let's go SD card. And we're going to click restart now. And again, copy existing user data. Sure, why not? We don't have much, but we can do that. And then migration complete, restart now. There. Now, if we head over, we're going to go into files. Our Dolphinemu is empty and gone from the internal storage. And if we head over to the SD card, it's right there, Dolphinemu, with everything inside of it. So it all moved over. You don't have to worry about it, that sort of thing. And now you can go in and do whatever you want. So I wanted to make this very easy, very simple. And I also wanted to cover all of the bases around what could go wrong here. Like make sure that it moves properly, all the files move properly, all of that sort of thing. So there's a whole bunch of checks and balances here for when you do this. But the long story short here is the only addition that I've made, to be very clear about this, is that user data storage location. That is the only thing that I've changed. This Dolphin GitHub will update automatically on new stable builds of Dolphin. So whenever Dolphin releases a stable build, my version will get updated within, I think it's 2 hours, if I remember correctly what I set it as. So within 2 hours, you'll have a new build and you can go play. So if I jump into the GitHub here, this is my GitHub for this, and you can see, I'm going to go down. I have what's different and all of that, and it goes over everything that you need to know, but releases are automatic. So just on the releases page, we have one single release right now, which is based off of 2606, which is the current build of Dolphin. And all we're doing, again, is adding the custom storage location. So like I said, whenever 2607 comes out or the next build, you'll have an automatic release. You can grab it here off of Obtainium or just come download it. And you can keep continuing to use custom storage location, which is a big benefit to anybody running Anbernic devices, Ionino devices, SyncThing users, all of that. There's many different reasons why you would want this. So hopefully that helps for a lot of people. But like I said, I want to be very clear that the only thing that I've added is this user data storage location. That's the only change I've made. Otherwise, yeah, like I said, well, that's all you got. So open up Dolphin CS, play your games, everything works, and you don't have to worry about it. And when you're done, you could just head back to your nice little launcher front end, this is my Joey OS. Now, launchers probably will need to be updated. I have a different package ID for Dolphin. So for Emulation Station or anybody else that needs to update, they are going to have to update the actual package ID, which I'll leave in the description just in case they want to have it easy. That's the only thing they need to change. Otherwise, that's it. You just open Dolphin, play whatever you want, have all of your data easily accessible, and it's super simple. So if all of these things are helping you, if I've missed anything, maybe there's some emulator that is missing something simple that I have missed, besides M64 plus FZ, which we've already tackled, retro achievements, hardcore to come at some point in the future, but softcore for now. It's going to be a little bit while we're on just softcore for that. DuckStation, obviously moving all the data over for DuckStation, that was a big one that I want to fix. So that's all good. Dolphin was the next on my list, and we've solved that now. I don't think there's anything else that I can remember that has similar things like this, like accessing data, making it simple for a lot of devices, all of that sort of thing. But if I am missing something, let me know, and I'll see if I can tackle it next. Otherwise, that's really all I have for you today. So check out the description. I'll leave everything there for all the different apps and things like that. And hopefully this helps. Again, I'm doing this for myself, but also the community, because I know a lot of people are in the same position I am when it comes to sync thing, when it comes to not being able to access this data on different devices. And so I wanted to make this very easy because these are little things that I think the community needs. So hopefully this helps, but let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about retro gaming, and hope you all have a good one.